Hey guys, it's Corey from Thought Soldiers. So I wanted to talk about something today. I just got a little kind of download that came in, or at least a phrase, and it was the missing piece. And it's been a kind of a common thread in my life as of recently, and something I wanted to talk about more at a personal level of how we unlock this state of wholeness and this state of kind of perfection and balance within. And learning not to deny ourselves of certain aspects that we need as a sense of fulfillment or completion within. So when we look at the aspects of us as beings, we've got our higher self, we have our temporal self, the ego. I'm just going to name those three right now. There's so many different aspects and archetypes of our structure that make our being. But the one thing that I've been doing for a while is denying my ego, okay, from certain things because of old programming. And now that I'm in this stage where I'm kind of stuck, and realizing that there's just some missing links, some missing pieces within my being, I'm growing to realize that these pieces need fulfillment. And when I deny that fulfillment within, I'm shutting off that aspect of myself, and I'm telling it to quiet down. Which, as we know, like a child, if we try to silence a child who's got questions or needs something, it will start to act out. It'll raise its voice. It will kick and scream. Things like that. That is the natural. That is the nature of humans, is wanting to be heard. And so these aspects of myself that I've been denying within, that want this fulfillment, that are craving this fulfillment, a lot of it is like when you are hungry, your body speaks to you. It will show your stomach will start to growl. You may start to lose energy. You may feel out of balance, out of whack. And when our body is saying, "I am hungry," what do? We feed that. We give ourselves that nourishment and those nutrients to provide so it can sustain us and make us feel whole. And so if you're feeling out of balance or you're feeling out of whack, I ask that you look at that aspect and go, what do you want and what do you need in order to feel this sense of completion? So, for me, mine is, and I'm going to just go vulnerable here and share it at a level, because I share this vulnerability just because I do. Whether it's to my detriment or not, doesn't matter. It's my truth. So longing for a physical connection with someone, or longing for more awakened soul tribe here in my physical reality. So not so much distance over the phone, because I've got a lot of great soul tribe all over the country and even out of this country that I talk to. But here on my physical plane, in my physical existence, right here in front of me, creating those relationships, those interpersonal connections. And what will happen is I'll be like, no, I don't need those personal connections because I'm whole 100% within, and I need to find all of this within myself. And very true, it is a very true aspect. But what I'm also doing when I am denying, even though like my spiritual higher self is saying, oh, you're whole within, you don't need anyone to complete you, that's still speaking from the ego, because it's separation. It's a separation, not the unity, not the we are all connected, we are all one, and come in and to connect those dots. I'm still, even though it's feeling like it's coming from a level of spirituality and a level of faith and a level of embodying this enlightenment, it's also still denying an aspect and telling it to be quiet, when in fact it just needs to be heard, it needs to be listened to. So, if you're going through this right now, where there's something you feel like you're missing out of your life, definitely go within and go, what is it that you need? And then see how you could supplement by giving that to that aspect of yourself. Because, for me, there are some truths and some old programming from the way I viewed enlightenment, the way I viewed spirituality, old constructs from dogmatic beliefs, things like that are like, oh, this is, and then insert, good, evil, bad, whatever word you want to put in there. And because of that old programming, I'm denying certain aspects to myself that are extremely necessary towards the level of creation of myself that I'm trying to get to. And that's the thing, is that sometimes we need to fill those aspects because there is an extremely valuable learning lesson, especially when it comes to abundance, giving and taking, and those acts that when we engage in giving those aspects of ourselves that level of nourishment, we are opening the door to receive on all different fronts. And so for me, I started to really connect to plant medicine 2 weeks ago. I'm taking a plant medicine class here in San Diego, and really understanding that level of nourishment that comes from Mother Earth, and listening to the aspects within ourselves that need this nourishment, asking and finding ways to give it nourishment, and then having to step into a level of uncomfortability or fear in the process of giving ourselves that level of nourishment. And it's because everything is give and take, especially when it comes down to abundance, especially when it comes down to just the natural laws of the universe and the one universal right we have on this earth plane, which is being able to take a breath. And that breath, and tying everything back into the breath of the give and the take, is that we have to give in, we take in the oxygen, we filter it, and when we put it back out, we are also breathing life into Mother Nature as well, and helping to keep that cycle going. And so, as we are starting new cycles and new seasons, and we are honoring this new season, look within and see what aspect you are denying of yourself that would need something, and look at it from a higher perspective, rather than so if there's something you're looking at and it just feels like, well, because of my beliefs I shouldn't be giving myself that, and within reason too, because there are aspects of us that want some sense of nourishment because we're trying to silence that voice, and it's something we used to give to it that we're now trying to shut off. So for instance, for me, I've taken the jump towards quitting smoking, and I'm just supplementing with vaping now. And my soul is saying, you need to go buy a pack of cigarettes. Well, that's because there's an addiction there. That's because that is a physical craving, a manifestation of me escaping some aspect of my reality that I've been doing for a very long time to fill void space. A lot of it having to do with past life stuff probably as well. And as a coping mechanism. And I know it's an unhealthy coping mechanism because it's something I've engaged in for a very long time, and there's been no valuable outcome from it other than spending money that is, definitely hindering more than it is helping. It's slowly killing myself. I mean, we could start to add up all those aspects. So what I say is to look at these aspects, and when my body is saying, Corey, you need a cigarette, for instance, or you need to go buy a Coca-Cola. There's a difference between giving that aspect, that there's an aspect of you that needs nourishment, versus a craving that you are trying to release. So for me, this one has been to go out and to go dating. Okay, I'm just gonna put it out there, to go be a part of the dating game and go be young and have fun. So for me, how I'll deny that aspect is by going, oh, well, Corey, you're a whole being within. You don't need anyone else as a form of external validation. You don't need people in your heart space, things like that. Yes, very true, very, very true. But there's also a level of understanding and lessons that come from engaging in those activities, as far as when it comes down to the receiving end of things. Because me, being the light worker that I am, and definitely stepping into the martyrdom role that I did for a while, I would give and overextend to others, but never let anyone in to be able to receive. And so what's also happened too is I've gotten to this level where I will let someone in a little too fast, or I'll let someone in my heart space, and I'll give them that room, and it just doesn't work out, or something happens, and then all of a sudden I shut off, the heart wall goes up, and I shut everyone out. Well, that doesn't mean to close that aspect down forever, because once again, when we're open to receiving even the uncomfortable aspects of things, such as receiving love from another individual, we could be shutting ourselves down from receiving a lot more out there that we're unaware of. So if I'm shutting down this aspect of myself and saying, oh, I'm not going to let myself receive this, it could be tying in to shutting down other aspects such as abundance, careers, things like that that are gonna fill my soul with nutrients and to be able to give myself this level of purpose. And so what I'll do is when I'm not providing that nourishment to that aspect of myself, what it's doing is that it's putting my soul and my heart into a state of hunger. And hunger, this level of hunger, is a state of lack. Because once again, there's something that needs filling in, and I'm not giving that nourishment. And these aspects are extremely healthy. So, like, things like going out and having interpersonal relationships, going out and meeting individuals and having physical intimacy with a woman. There are aspects that I denied because of the spiritual component of the old Christianity belief, which is, save yourself for marriage, things like that. Which I've had to now, I'm learning to cut out of my life because once again, it is for me. This is my truth. So please, if this doesn't resonate with you, don't take it. This is my truth and I'm just speaking this out loud. But when I'm denying myself of that aspect because of an old dogmatic belief, it's an excuse to not fill that nourishment that the body needs to be able to understand how to give and to receive when it comes to blocks that are blocking our manifestations too. It's because that's what it is. It's a give and take. It's a give and take. And if I'm giving too much, and when I am receiving, or I'm allowing that reception to come in, and then it ends up causing some sort of discord, or there's some unbalanced aspect that comes in and it ends up triggering a shadow aspect, whatever it is, I'm automatically shutting myself down from receiving because I see a pattern where it's like, well, I'm open to receiving, but when it comes in, what happens is I end up getting hurt or whatever. And so then I look at that pattern and I escape that out. But it's not the pattern, it's what I'm allowing to come in. It's that filter. It's that level of discernment. Because what I could be doing is robbing myself of very good opportunities and chances because I'm not allowing that space to come in, if that makes sense. So I wanted to talk about the missing piece and these missing aspects of ourselves that may be crying out, going, "Hey, I need this right now. Why aren't you giving this to myself?" And then giving yourself that nourishment or that nutrient, and watching what flourishes and sprouts from honoring that aspect of yourself. And where is this aspect coming from? Is it coming from, your higher self? Is it coming from your soul? Is it coming from your ego? Is it coming from old programming? Is it coming from a certain archetype? Where is it coming from? And then using that judgment and discernment to see if it's something you really need in order to learn, or to be open, or to open yourselves to new possibilities and new opportunities. Because once again, since we're living in a new paradigm, we have to let go of the pattern. And I'm saying this out loud because I'm having this issue right now, is like, there are people that enter my life and I'm like, oh, I know what this pattern is. I know what this is because I've seen it before and I know what it is. Well, we're living in a new paradigm now. And globally, since we are waking up, the people that could be re-entering our lives, or these situations that could be re-entering our lives, are going to be unpredictable now. And there may be a miracle that lies within it, and we need to let go of that pattern and trust and honor the fact that our guidance isn't going to put us into an extremely detrimental situation, because there is a level of learning that comes from it, even with pain. And that's another thing to realize, is we cannot escape pain in 5D. What we escape is suffering. Suffering no longer is a part of our story. Pain is the catalyst for healing and for growth. And if we shut off, isolate, and don't let ourselves receive, and we hermit, or things like that, what we are doing is we are saving ourselves from pain, which means that we are saving ourselves from growth, we are saving ourselves from learning, and we are saving ourselves from abundance. Because every time we go through some sort of pain or uncertainty or fear, and then we conquer that and we get to the other side of it, we raise up in vibration, and thus we can access higher timelines, because we needed that learning lesson to grow and to heal and to expand and to continue on our journey. And so I ask, what are you denying within yourself that your soul needs nourishment wise, and is it healthy overall? And once again, look at that. So like for me, once again, I'm going to talk about cigarettes and diet and things like that. If my body is craving you know, a cigarette. And I'm not giving myself that cigarette. I'm not saying go out and give yourself that cigarette unless that's something that you really need at that point in time. But other things of soul nourishment, like loving relationships, you know, physical contact with another individual. Especially a lot of us that do this online working and a lot of the YouTube stuff, there's still a disconnect because you can see us here, or I'm going to use me here. I say this. You can see me here, and I can present myself one way to you. And I can present myself to you when it comes down to distance, at a distance, because once again, there's still a disconnect. There's still a veil, and there's still a level of filtering that can happen there. But when you encounter someone in the physicality, which a lot of us millennials too, who grew up with no social media, and then the rise of social media and the rise of YouTube and the rise of all these things where we can now project ourselves out there in front of a camera and then put it out there and seek that nourishment that way. There's also a level of physical nourishment that needs to happen as well in the interpersonal connections that happen on this physical plane in front of us directly. And there's something very valuable in that. So that's all I got, guys. Much love and respect to everybody out in the Webiverse. And yeah, what pieces are missing of you that you need to give to yourself? And how can you give that to yourself in a healthy way? That will then help you to grow, to flourish, and to be open to receiving and be open to giving as well. So that's all I got, guys. If you want to, go ahead and shoot me an email, CoreyMacLight33@gmail.com. Got links down in the description box. Click them. Check them out, and if you haven't, click subscribe. And I appreciate everybody that's reached out, and all the people that have contacted me personally and have gotten healings. Love all you guys, and that's all I got for now. So once again, much love and respect, and I'll see you on the other side. Namaste.